Well, everyone, what's up, guys? We are going to learn about the tips for a success in listening. Here I have 8 tips for listening. You can see for the first here, listen for the main idea. Okay, you can expect that the first question after almost every lecture is the main idea. A question. They are very popular, so it is important to listen for the main idea. At the beginning of the listening passage, the professor usually mentions what the main topic of the lecture will be about, but sometimes the topic might be branched into sometimes more specific. Pay attention to the main idea of the lecturer at the beginning and be mindful when the topic changes. And the second tips, sometimes you will encounter questions that are about the speaker's attitude or opinion. To answer this question correctly, you need to pay attention to the speaker's tone of voice. For example, does the speaker sound excited, confused, or sad? And the third tips, how ideas are connected throughout the lecture. When listening to a lecture, make note of the way two ideas in the lecture are connected. In other words, how the professor organized the lecture. When you encounter a question asking you about how the lecture is organized, you can refer back to your notes. Some of the main relations between ideas include cause or effect, compare or contrast, and step in a process. And fourth, listen to the key point, not specific details. TOEFL listening question will not test you on small details. For example, you won't see questions that are about a specific year, name, or location. Instead, a question will test your understanding of key points mentioned in the lecture. And the 5, listen for a signal word that indicate different parts of the lecture. To help you capture key points in the lecture, you need to learn to listen for a signal word or transition word. These words are like the road signs that tell you what is coming next. Signal words can tell you the beginning or the end of a topic. They can also help you move through the middle of the lecture by introducing topics. And the 6 tips, make an educated guess on question you are answer of. When you don't know the answer, you do not give up. Try to figure out which choice is most consistent with the main idea of the conversation or lecture. Another way is to eliminate obvious wrong answer. The 7, don't skip question. The question in the listening section must be answered in the order they are presented. If you skip a question, you will not be able to go back and answer it. The 8 tips. Don't take more than 2 minutes to answer a question. If you spend more than 2 minutes on a question, you might run out of time. It's not worth it. Leave time for other questions that you have more confidence on. It's better to have an educated guess and move on than it is to miss out on potential easy question because you ran out of time.
In the listening comprehension section of the test, you will have an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to understand spoken English. There are 3 parts to this section with special directions for each part. Answer all the questions on the basis of what is stated or implied by the speakers in this test. Directions. In Part A, you will hear short conversations between 2 people. After each conversation, you will hear a question about the conversation. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the screen and select the best answer by clicking on it. Here is an example. On the recording, you hear,
I don't like this painting very much.
"Neither do I." What does the man mean? Here is an example. On the recording, you hear,
I don't like this painting very much.
"Neither do I." What does the man mean? You learn from the conversation that neither the man nor the woman likes the painting. The best answer to the question, "What does the man mean?" is A. He does not like the painting either. Therefore, the correct choice is A. Question 1. Should I lock up the computer lab now before I go home?
Don't bother. I'm not leaving for a while. I can check it on my way out.
What will the woman probably do? Question 2. Do you mind if I turn the television off?
Well, I'm in the middle of watching a program.
What does the woman imply? Question 3.
I heard the math requirements for graduation are being changed.
Yes, and I may be short 1 course. What does the man mean? Directions. In Part B, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the screen and select the best answer by clicking on it. Questions 4 through 7. Listen to part of a conversation between a student and a professor.
Hi, Professor Adams. My name is Larry.
Hi, Larry. How can I help you?
I was told that you place students in internships for various university programs.
Yes?
Well, I'm interested in the internship at the University Art Museum. What responsibilities interns have, what qualifications they need to have.
Sorry, those positions are all filled for this year.
Oh, but I just saw the announcement on the museum website this morning.
Unfortunately, the website is out of date.
I want to do museum work after I graduate, and the job experience would look great on my resume. Plus, it's the only paid internship on campus.
I understand. However, there are some other ways to get some work experience, even if it's not exactly what you want. For instance, the library is looking for student volunteers.
The library? But
Well, they're planning an exhibition of photographs documenting the history of the university, and they're looking for student volunteers to help go through the archives and select images that'll show how the university's changed over the last 100 years. Now, that's only a 4-week project, I think, and of course it's unpaid.
But it would be something to put on my resume.
Exactly. Why don't you read the job description? It's posted on the library's website. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll put in a good word for you with Emily Peterson. She's the library's exhibitions director and will be interviewing applicants.
Okay, I'll do that right away.
Question 4. What do the speakers mainly discuss? Question 5. Why is the student disappointed? Question 6. What will be displayed in the exhibition at the university library? Question 7. What can be inferred about the library's exhibitions director, Emily Peterson? Directions. In Part C of the test, you will hear several talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the screen and select the best answer by clicking on it. Here is an example. On the recording you hear, listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program.
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. The subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? On the screen, you read A. To demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B. To discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C. To explain the workings of the brain. D. To dramatize a famous mystery story. Now, listen to another sample question. Why does the professor recommend watching the program? On the screen, you read A. It is required of all science majors. B. It will feature the professor's research. C. It can help viewers improve their memory skills. D. It will help with coursework. Questions 8 through 10. Listen to a talk in an animal behavior class.
Today's discussion is about a common animal reaction, the yawn. The dictionary defines a yawn as an involuntary reaction to fatigue or boredom. That's certainly true for human yawns, but not necessarily for animal yawns. The action can have quite different meaning in different species. For example, some animals yawn to intimidate intruders on their territory. Fish and lizards are examples of this. Hippos use yawns when they want to settle a quarrel. Observers have seen 2 hippos yawn at each other for as long as 2 hours before they stop quarreling. As for social animals like baboons or lions, they yawn to establish the pecking order within social groups, and lions often yawn to calm social tensions. Sometimes animals yawn for a strictly physiological reason, that is, to increase oxygen levels. And curiously enough, when they yawn for a physical reason like that, they do what humans do. They try to stifle the yawn by looking away or by covering their mouths.
Question 8. What is the speaker's main point? Question 9. According to the speaker, when are hippos likely to yawn? Question 10. What physiological reason for yawning is mentioned?